Peace. What's good, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about and discuss NXT for August the 23rd, 2022. This is a very fun, solid show for the most part. Some really good shit happened on the show. So, we kick the show off with Bron Breakker. So, Bron, he hits the ring, and he says he hit a banger with JD McDonough last week. He proved that he's one of the best. He addressed Tyler Bate coming to the ring afterwards, and he says that he didn't fly across the world for the miles. Then he calls out Tyler Bate. Tyler Bates hit the ring. Tyler Bate gets on the mic. He congratulates Bron on his win last week, saying that he's not there to collect miles. He said he stands before fans as the proud final NXT UK champion. He says that he can't think of a better way to kick off NXT Europe by unifying the NXT and NXT UK championships. And then Breakker says that this isn't NXT UK. He says this is where the greatest stars of the world are made. And then Breakker says that he agrees with him and that he challenges him to a unification match at Worlds Collide. The two of them, they shake hands. So that was pretty good right there. We'll talk about all that stuff being Worlds Collide towards the end. So then we got a video package hyping up Gallus. But before that, Fallon Henley and Last Legend, they were brawling, but they had to be pulled apart by security. First match of the night, Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs versus Gallus featuring Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. So the match breaks down fairly quickly. Pretty deadly. They come in and they take out Brooks and Jensen. The referee calls the bell. Gallus does the winners by DQ. But then Diamond Mine, they jump them and they take them out. And then security separates Gallus and Diamond Mine. Then we had one of the funnest segments of the night, the Grayson Waller effect. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about a video of Chase University students. They're learning from Charlie Dempsey. So Dempsey is the son of William Regal, and the guy's pretty fucking awesome. He's really good. Why not? He's the son of William Regal. Like, why wouldn't he be good? And then he beats down Brody Haywood and another guy. And then he says that the class is too soft, that being Charlie. So I kind of like this feud. So to feud him with Brody is going to be pretty cool. So Grayson Waller, he says that his new show is going to be the Buzzno of the WWE. He says that his fans, he said that this show is all about him. He says that the fans can go to his Instagram to ask any questions about Apollo Cruz. So he introduces Apollo. He then asks Apollo how does it feel to be a clout chaser. I'm like, what the fuck? So Cruz says that he was born in NXT. He said he needed to find himself again. I love that line right there. Cruz says that Waller's jealous of him. And then Waller asks him if he used to have an accent. He does the accent, which is great. He said that he's proud of his heritage, and he got too focused on his past. He's looking to make things right with his future. So I thought that was a great line. Waller accuses Apollo taking away spots from everybody. And then Apollo fires back, and he calls Waller a low rent version of the Miz, which is some really good shit right there. And then Grayson, he follows back and says, so what are you gonna tell your kids that you lost, that you failed on Mondays and Fridays? And Apollo says, I'm gonna tell him what it's like to be a champion on Mondays, Fridays, and soon to be Tuesdays. Tuesdays, and then he knocked the shit out of Grayson. So I love that. Really fun, really good shit right there. So backstage, pretty deadly. They were mocking Gallus and making fun of them, and they called Gallus pretty deadly copycats. And then they attempted to brawl with Gallus, but security guards prevented Gallus from attacking. Pretty deadly. Next, we had Cameron Grimes. My bad. We had Cameron Grimes versus Javi Benar. So he's from NXT Level Up. So Grimes wins here via the cave-in. Before the match, Joe Gassy gets on the mic and wishes Grimes good luck. So this is kind of getting kind of weird with this shit, you know. I don't know. So then we get a video package hyping up Blair Davenport. Then we come back from commercial. We get a video package involving Alpha Fire. And she says she'll do whatever it takes to win. And she's going to honor her ancestors. Blair Davenport versus Indy Hartwell. Blair Davenport wins via a botched brainbuster. And that shit looked horrible. It looked horrible. I was scared for Indy. I was like, oh, shit. Then post-match, Davenport gets on the mic and she says that she's arrived and she just laid out one of the best talent in the division. And then she said that she was the number one contender for the NXT UK Women's Championship before saying that she wants the NXT Women's Champion. And she said that'll do. Then out comes Mandy Rose. She being Rose, tells Davenport that her reputation precedes her. Rose introduces herself to Davenport, says she's standing in her ring, in her world. She says in her world, everyone follows her lead. She says she is the most dominant women's champion and says to put some respect on her name. Then Meiko Satomura, her music hits, comes out to a really good ovation. And Satomura says that Rose isn't the most dominant champion because she is. Then Rose fires back and says that while Satomura is a legend, she can't think of a better way to put respect on her name by beating her. And then Satomura challenges Mandy to a champion versus champion. And then Davenport, she interrupts and says, don't forget about her. She's the number one contender. And then Satomura says, triple threat at Worlds Collide. So that should be interesting there. We got a backstage segment involving Tiffany Stratton. She cuts a promo on Wendy Chu, saying that she's superior to Wendy Chu, saying she won't be able to show her face around after she beats her. So we get the D'Angelo family and Legado de Fantasma. Tony says that he forgives them for betraying him last week and says that the future begins with Cruz and Joaquin and their match. We get a video package involving JD McDonough hanging upside down. We're talking like, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing upside down? So he's wishing Bron Breakker good luck at Worlds Collide and says that he'll see him on the other side. Then we get Wesley. He's backstage with dreads, talking to Caden Carter and Katana Chance, and they're all addressing the JD McDonough video. And then Chance, she says that they'll take on anyone in any team, and then Wesley says that someone's bound to pick up the titles. So, like, okay. So they'll find some random, tag team funnest segment of the night. Indy Hartwell. So Index, they reunite. This is some good shit right here. So Indy, she grabs the mic. She says that this is what Bron feels like. She says that she's always been the problem. After telling herself 4 months ago that she was done with tears, she says she's going to reignite her career, but she's still in the same position 4 months later. 4 months ago. And then out of nowhere, Dexter Lumis appears. They reunite. They kiss and hug each other. They crawl towards one another. And they kiss each other. And they hug. The crowd, they cheer. Dexter Lumis carries Indy backstage. And then he's promptly arrested. Rightfully so. The man kidnapped The Miz on Monday. He kidnapped The Miz 24 hours ago. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, the FBI needs to get involved. The CIA needs to get involved. Like, Dexter's got to go to jail. Thankfully, the Atlanta police were there to stop this madman, to stop this fucking murderer. So that was some good shit. And then Dexter, he leaves behind a letter to Indy, and it says, goodbye. The letter reads, goodbye, Indy, for now, I love you. So this seems to be her swan song to NXT. She's probably going to head to the main roster. They'll probably continue this story on Monday, which I hope they do. Then we get a backstage segment involving Cora Jade. She's talking to Mackenzie Mitchell, says that she gets that everyone thinks she's amazing, but if she beat Roxanne Perez, then what does that make her? And then she says that she's better than Roxanne Perez. And then we get Legado de Fantasma versus the Dyad. The Dyad, they win here. And then throughout the entire match, both Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro are getting belittled by Tony D'Angelo, which is some really good shit here. So he's yelling at Legado for losing, that being Tony D'Angelo. And then we come back. We see Legado. They're headed, they're leaving the arena. And then a car pulls up. We see the driver, and it's Santos Escobar. I'm like, fuck yes. He asked if they thought that he would leave them without, if he would leave without them. And he asked them if they're ready to go. And he tells them, get in, and then they dip out. The car drives off. Then we have Tyler Bate versus Von Wagner. Earlier in the night, Von Wagner cut a promo saying that Tyler Bate's not going to even make it to Worlds Collide. Tyler Bate wins here, which I'm fine with. You know, we all knew he was going to win anyway. And we had a backstage segment involving Diamond Mine. So they're celebrating their attack. And then they discuss their 6-man tag match against Gallows for next week. Roderick Strong says that he wants in. The Creeds are like, nah, fuck that, you ain't getting in. And then Briggs and Jensen, they come into play, and then they agree to find out who's the better team once and for all. Then the main event, Tiffany Stratton versus Wendy Chu in the lights out match. Pretty okay little match. The lights were dimmed, but you could still see everything that was going on. There was a broken bed spot in this match, as well as a Lego spot in this match, and Legos fucking hurt. Trust me, they fucking hurt. Wendy wins via the splash from the top rope for the 3. And that was it. So we go off the air seeing a contract signing involving Mandy Rose, Meiko Satomura, Blair Davenport, along with Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate. So there's all the championships are there on the table, and all five are just sitting there, just signing the contract back and forth. So I thought that was really, really good. One of the easiest ways to do a contract signing. So, this is a pretty fun show. We now know that Indy is destined for the main roster, as well as Legado and Fantasma, because SmackDown desperately, I'm talking desperately, needs Legado and Fantasma desperately. They need guys. They need bodies. They need bodies. Um, I don't know how I feel about Worlds Collide. There's no build to any of these matches. It's just no build. Um, I'm guessing that Davenport probably is going to win the triple threat, which makes sense. We know Bron is going to beat Bate, and then there's probably going to be a fatal four for the tag team to unify the tag titles. So the Creed brothers, Gallus, Brooks and Jensen, and Pretty Deadly. I would have Gallus win that anyway. Pretty Deadly and Diamond, they're destined for the main roster. So yeah, there's that. Brooks and Jensen, fuck them. Just put them in a wood chipper. Fuck them. But I wish that there was some heat for this, but there's not really much you can do within just a week left. So next week is the go home show. So we'll see how everything comes out and plays. I'm shocked that Carmelo Hayes was not on the show. That was weird. He probably will be involved in Worlds Collide for sure. So he'll probably take on Noam Dar. So yeah. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. But this was a solid, fun episode. It really was. I dug it, man. I dug it. Peace. Deuces.
Tune in.